a Christmas movie about Santa, Krampus, and 3
ho-hos.
That's right, we watch Sleigh Bells. We watch it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
What's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Mr. Marshall Hampton. With me, as always, is my buddy, my co-host, Mr. Aaron Southworth. Aaron, say hello.
Ho, ho, ho.
I knew that was coming.
Merry Christmas, Moon Goons.
I got a whole month of that to put up with.
Santa's back. This year, Marshall, you've been a bad little bitch. Last episode, you went on quite the rant.
Yeah, we actually took a week off between last episode and this one, so that's why there wasn't another episode last week. But we just kind of needed a break after No Mercy. It kind of took a piece of our souls, and
Aaron killed himself. That's why Santa's here. But yeah, that was a tough one, man.
Yeah, we kind of needed to recharge after that, and get our energy and recharge for this.
Especially for this time of year.
Yeah,
this is my favorite time of year. Everyone says Halloween's the best time. I'm sorry, I love Halloween too, but I'm a fucking Christmas guy.
Yeah, I gotta put up with this for a month, but we need to recharge for our Christmas, our month long, December month long Christmas movie push.
And I love the horror Christmas.
Yeah, Aaron
blend.
loves this time of year.
I think it's great. I think it's a good opportunity to bring the wholesome and the horror smack together. And you have such great options with the music and the decoration. It's already kind of baked into the cake of what you can do. I love this type of movie and this type of year.
So before we get into this week's movie, I want to send a super big shout out to Noah A, who is one of our Patreons. He actually just upped not just a Patreon, but he upped his Patreon donations.
Someone's a good little boy.
So we just want to say a super big shout out to him and a super big thank you. That's awesome. I have your swag ready to go out and get it. We'll get it mailed out as soon as possible. So it's a super big thanks to him. And for anybody else who wants to get in on our Patreon action, check it out on patreon.com and get some swag and just help out the show if you enjoy it. It means a lot to us.
We're doing Back from the Dead, kind of doing a retrospective on a lot of our old episodes.
I got to post a new one.
Yeah, we got
new one
1 through 10, 2 through 1
We're on
through 10,
volume
11 through
6 now,
every
like
10
that.
episodes or so. And the first one you can listen to for free, kind of get a taste of what it is, but it's a lot of fun.
With that said, this week's movie, like I say, it's now Christmas. It's Sunday, December 1st. So we are kicking off our December month-long Christmas horror movie marathon. So we're kicking off with Sleigh Bells.
Sleigh Bells.
This is
and the spelling on that is S-L-A-Y.
Yes.
And the bells is B-E-L-L-E-S, as in a southern belle.
Yes.
Like the ladies.
So this was released on December 4th of 2018, so just about a year old.
Yeah, new one.
I remember watching it last year, too. I did watch it right when it came out for last year's Christmas thing, but obviously we didn't get to it last year. Written by Jessica Lurson and Dan Walker. It was also directed by Dan Walker. This man is a man of many hats. He's only got 3 directing credits to his name, but he's got 64 credits for visual effects, 13 as an actor, 10 as a producer, 4 as an editor, 3 as a makeup department, and many, many more. He worked on Live Free or Die Hard as doing visual effects. He's also worked on movies like Devil's Carnival and Slither, horror movies.
Have you seen Live Free or Die Hard?
I don't remember if I saw that one or not.
Does that one take place during Christmas as well?
I don't know.
That's a shame if it doesn't, because Die Hard's a great Christmas movie.
Is that the one with Samuel L. Jackson,
That's number 3. That's Die Hard with a Vengeance, and that takes place during the summer.
Okay, then isn't
The There's Die Hard Another Day. They went off the rails with that shit.
I maybe I've not seen that one then. But Sleigh Bells you can find on Amazon, Tubi, YouTube, Google Play, and Vudu. So it's out there. You can easily get it. Cast. It's got some fun cast people to talk about.
Yeah.
First of all, Santa, our main man Santa, played by Barry Bostwick. Who I actually think does an awesome job with this movie. I think he kills it. Alexi is played by one of my favorites, Christina Klebe. Or Klebe. I don't know. It's German. I don't know how to officially pronounce it. I just call her Klebe. She's 67 credits, including Sinister Seduction. She's in the newest 2019 Hellboy movie. She's also done voice acting in games like Wolfenstein 2, and she was in Friday the 13th, the game, where she was the voice of Jenny Myers, one of my favorite characters. And she also played Linda in Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. So that's kind of where most people probably know her from originally. Then we have Sadie, played by Hannah Walker. This is an interesting person. Very interesting case here. Hannah Wagner, I should say. Did I say Walker? I meant to say Wagner. Hannah Wagner is better known as Hannah Minx, a famous YouTube star who now recently has become shrouded in mystery lately because due to her sudden and complete disappearance. Right after this movie she got done filming this movie, apparently she went on just disappeared off the face of the planet.
Whoa. And which character does she play in this?
Sadie, the blue-haired girl.
Huh. So she's MIA.
Yeah, she was a famous YouTuber who was big in Japanese culture, and she spent time in Japan.
Cosplay stuff, huh?
Kind of cosplay. She did start doing cosplay anime costumes, but she started off doing the Japanese word of the day, where she just gave a Japanese and she'd explain, and then she branched out into J-pop and stuff, but I guess mostly because she's a Hako giant kid. Sure. But she's wearing I guess she wore a lot of cute Japanese stuff. So obviously she got a following, became a huge star, and then just disappeared. Nothing's been added to her YouTube in forever. Instagram's gone. Facebook, everything just disappeared. Stopped everything. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. There's a rumor that one of her early super followers, who's we'll call a Facebook friend, whatever you call on social media. I'm friends with him on social media. Sure. But super early, so one of her followers, but from the very beginning, somehow he got the rumor or the theory that she just got married and just gave up the life and but nothing's been verified as far as I'm aware to this day. And nothing's verified. She's just disappeared. She could be dead. Who knows what fuck happened? But she's just gone. And then we have Dahlia, played by Susan Slaughter. She's got 8 credits to her name, including Alleluia, The Devil's Carnival, Ouija House, and here's the interesting thing. She was also one of the ghost hunters on Sci-Fi's hit show Ghost Hunters. She was on 2 episodes of the original show, 20 episodes of Ghost Hunters International, and she was on 6 episodes of Ghost Hunters Academy, which I probably watched all of those.
I was about to say, man, you were deep into ghost hunting for a while. Before we did the podcast, you were a ghost hunting nerd.
I still like it. Honestly, I just don't have the time to do it. But I think it's
I remember cool. You'd go on these trips, you'd go overnight and do the ghost hunting thing. Yeah. And there was one, I'm just okay, man, whatever your thing is. And you're let's do one together. And I'm all right, I'll do one. And then you canceled on me. I don't know, something happened, but you're I can't make it. I'm
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was
actually kind of excited. I was well, let's see.
I forget what happened, but something came up, and I or maybe that trip just got canceled.
You twisted my arm real hard for it. I'm all right, let's do it. And then, then you pumped me up enough. I'm okay, here it comes. We're not going. Yeah. I'm not going to hear a bump in the night and get a chill down my spine and then be tired the rest of the day.
And lastly, we 2 more people mentioned Cherry. It's played by Diane Salinger, 76 credits. She played Simone in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. She was Penguin's mother in Batman Returns.
No shit.
She was also in All Hallows Eve, Pee-wee's Big Holiday. She's done voices.
She's done a lot of Paul Rubin stuff because Paul Rubin was the father of the Penguin in Batman Returns.
That's right, he was. Hell, why was she fucking married to the guy? I don't know. She did voices in such epic games like Skyrim. She's also appeared in various TV shows like CSI, Young and the Restless, How I Met Your Mother, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Charm, Power Rangers, Lightspeed, Rescue, Silk Stockings, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, many, many more. So she's been all over the place. And lastly, Officer Green in a very minor role, played by Richard Mole. So some of you younger cats out there might not know who the fuck Richard Mole is, but some of you older guys like mine, you should, because he was
Bull Shannon.
Bull Shannon from the famous Night Court sitcom. I
I
love Night Court. One of my all-time favorites. For all the shit that's still on replay, like,
yeah, sorry.
for all
Night Court's awesome.
I know, but like it's weird, like with Netflix and YouTube and Hulu,
Yeah,
and
you
all
think-
this shit out there. Even on regular cable, like it's like not played anywhere. Like, why is this not in syndication somewhere? It's one of the greatest sitcoms like ever. It was so
so
good.
much fun.
So much fun, but it's not out there anywhere. Even on Hulu or something. Like, why is this not out there to watch somewhere? It's really sad. But anyway,
He was the bailiff on Night Court.
he was the bailiff. Yeah,
and he's got a
one
very,
of the bailiffs. The other was a sassy black woman, Roz, who was
yeah.
like 4 feet tall. And he's like
played by Marsha Warfield.
yes. And it was funny because she was like 5 feet barely,
Just kind of like hefty,
and he's like 6'6".
he's really tall. He had a bald shaved head.
Yeah.
Looked very Lurch-esque, but he was like comic.
He's
He was kind of
bald.
like, he was the comic relief.
Yeah. Well, everybody on that show was comic relief, but yeah. Anyway,
I guess you're right. Yeah.
I mean, it's a comedy sitcom. So that's that for now. We'll come back. So let's get ready to unwrap this Christmas present. The movie, we open with the credits straight away. No cold open, just credits. And I gotta say, these credits are actually really fun. I thought, and the music's good, and it really got me pumped for this movie. Like I was like, oh. All right, I'm excited for this
I gotta
movie.
admit, because I mean, it feels indie, but it's I didn't do any research on the movie. I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't do anything. So I just saw Barry Bostwick. I'm like, oh no shit, and he was like top billing. So I'm like, okay, he might only be in it for a little bit. Nope, he was in it. It goes to the cast and it shows Richard Mole, and I'm like, okay. And then the graphics they had, like you said, the graphics were very well done.
Really well done.
The computer graphics, it was going to this like winter wonderland, spinning it onto a kaleidoscope-esque into different scenes. Very well done.
It's awesome, and the music's good too. It's like, oh man, like it really got me going.
I was impressed. I was like, okay, this is gonna be better than.
Yeah, it's the best credits we've seen in a very long time on this show.
It's like, well, at least it's not a No Mercy.
So after the credits, we get thrown right into the fire. We're taken to Lake Forest, California, 11:23 p.m. on Christmas Eve, in a house that's all decked out in Christmas decorations, and we meet our three main girls right off the bat. And what looks like a cop tied to a chair. The girls are covered in blood. Standing behind them in the corner is Santa Claus. One of them is armed with a handgun. At this point, we don't know any names. We don't know anything. Just what we see. The first line of the movie is spoken by the captain. Says, "What the fuck is going on? Who are you?" So that's how we open it up. And during his rant, he does say, "Chris, I knew you killed that kid. I knew you were crazy like that." And so that just kind of give me a little kind of like, okay, what's going on?
There's some familiarity going on. Yeah.
The girl with the gun tells the cop to sit the fuck down, shut up and listen. And then we time jump back in time 12 hours earlier. And this is where we kind of start learning about our main girls, Sadie and Dahlia. They have a YouTube channel called Adventure Girls, in which they document their urban exploration of weird and outlandish locations. We jump to the three of them, and now the three of them driving down some old highway while blaring techno music. And we meet Alexi. She's in the back. She's kind of portrayed as the more responsible one of the two, kind of like more low key, kind of like
we have the two
reasonable.
We have the two with three girls, and Alexi is the more responsible. She's not the YouTube personality.
No,
the two girls are the YouTube personality. Yes. And they got one's got bright pink hair. The other one is like
red. It's red.
Whatever.
And the other and
the other one's got like different wigs that she's trying on. She eventually lands on blue, but they have a very extreme look. Very tits pushed up to the moon, makeup done real heavy. Very like YouTube star or trying to be a influencer type of person.
Yeah,
cosplay-esque.
Yeah, very much. And then Lexi's just kind of very toned down, and she's wearing like scrubs and
she looks like a fucking Ghostbuster. She's wearing like coveralls that are like brown, like Ghostbusters.
She wears scrubs. She's wearing a scrub shirt.
I wear goddamn scrubs my whole goddamn career.
She's not wearing coveralls, and we see her put it on over her head. Anyway, whatever.
Looks like a Ghostbuster.
So the two of Sadie and Dahlia give her Alexis some crap for never actually watching any of their Adventure Girls videos.
So a friend doesn't pay attention to the show they do?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Sounds very familiar.
You're on point, all of our friends.
All of you out there. who are never going to hear us because you don't listen, you fuckers.
Bad friends.
Bad friends. We have shitty friends.
Not all of them. There are some that do listen.
Anyway, they tell her that they, as urban explorers, pretty much just break into weird places and film themselves running around, and then collect one keepsake from each place they explore, and then that's it. That's what they do.
So like any like abandoned amusement park or abandoned big old building or a car factory or something like that.
Old candy factory. Just weird
right.
shit that's been So this time they're going to urban explore Santaland. Before they get there, they pull over for a bathroom break at a roadside hole-in-the-wall bar. Inside, we meet the dirty, drunk locals and the rough, take no shit, give no fucks bartender Cherry. It's Cherry. Turns out that Cherry, along with the rest of the locals, don't like Christmas. Cherry even has "fuck Christmas" tattooed across her fingers.
Fuck Xmas on her knuckles, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was
pretty good. And the one girl, not Dahlia, not Alexi, Sadie.
The blue, yeah.
She winds up on blue hair. She walks in and her tits are just bouncing everywhere.
I do.
It's kind of distracting.
That's my next side notes. Is that first part I want to mention, as much as like Christina Klibb, she does look good in this movie. But one, she looks too old to be hanging out with the likes of Dahlia and Sadie, who looks much, much younger. But goddamn, does Sadie look fucking hot in this movie? Literally, these are my notes. Because, goddamn, yeah, her tits are just busting out of this little tank top. And she's a smoke show.
It's definitely noticeable.
Yes.
It's an eye-opener. Who needs a shot of whiskey when you can see them titties bounce?
Exactly. So in comes the cop who we saw in the opening, whose name's Sean. Dahlia orders some eggnog, and then Sherry gives her like a disgusting look, and Sherry just pours in 3 glasses of whiskey instead. We learned some weird shit's been going on around the town lately. That some kids have been murdered. I also at this point find out that Sean is not actually a cop, but he's a park ranger who is helping out the understaffed police department for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
The girls head off and arrive at the now closed down theme park Santaland. Alexi's all pumped to go on her first adventure and starts a hot defense, but Dahlia stops her and says, "Hey, you're not ready yet." And that's when Sadie pulls out the Christmas quote-unquote uniform, and now it turns into a sexy cosplay montage as the girls change into their sexy outfits, during which Sadie tries on different colored wigs, even though she's already wearing a blue one, this blue cotton candy colored wig, and then she just decides to stick with that one anyway. And we do get quick titty flash of Dahlia's tits.
We do get quick titty flash.
Quick titty flash.
But it's definitely not, it's not sexy. It's just like a girl changing her shirt.
It's just her changing.
So I was just like, why do we even do that? Why did we even like have that flash? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like it, I appreciate it, thank you. But just for movies in general, if you're gonna show the movies, make them like give them a little story, give them a little bump, you know, give me something to go with on the titties.
Give them the proper
or make
time.
it a gag, or make it funny. Like example, like in Zombievers. They go skinny dipping, and then when the bear house, she covers her boobs when there's a bear around, which I thought was hilarious. So, yeah, either a gag or sexy. If it's just like, I'm just changing my clothes, I'm like, thanks, but...
There's still tits, and you never say no to tits.
I learned my lesson, yeah. But still, it's just kind of...
It's a nice little Christmas present for the viewer. It's just there.
A stocking stuffer.
It is. It's just like, hey, here's a little taste. Here's some little titty. Merry Christmas. No, we're not going to focus on just a little something
It's
for
a
you.
little stocking stuffer, a little something to make you happy.
So, as they film a little video intro, we see that the theme park is actually rigged with its own security cameras. The girls hop the fence and head into Santaland. Alexei gives them a rundown of what to do in case of a bear attack, because that's what I think they're talking about. Around the bears have been attacking.
Yeah, when they were at the bar, they did mention, the dead kids, dead family. They think it's a bear attack.
Yeah, they think
there's
it's
a wild bear. Bears attacking.
So they're like, in case of a bear attack, this is what you do. And then Dahlia just pulls out this large taser saying, "This is my bear plan," or something like that. This kicks off the big montage of the girls, quote unquote, exploring Santaland while running around and just goofing off.
Yeah, and it's this is one of those moments where there was no script, nothing was. It was just
montage of them goofing around and exploring, really having fun. During this montage, we do see them trying to yank out an axe out of a tree stump, like it's the sword in the stone. None of them are able to do
Thor's hammer or something.
We did get some more background information on the park. Dahlia mentions that it closed down 20 years ago, and she heard apparently rumors that some kid died in the park or at the park or something like that.
Yeah. If you have Six Flags money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you got Disney money, your kid can get eaten by an alligator. Doesn't matter.
Mickey Mouse himself can murder your kid at Epcot Center, but it won't matter.
Don't you remember that a couple years ago? A kid got eaten by an alligator on Disney's property.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like that's terrifying.
That is terrifying. Yeah, I heard something like years ago. I didn't know if it was the same. I mean, it's Florida, so it probably happens more than once. But I heard like a 2 or 3 year old got eaten by an alligator. Like that was just like in their back, like just wandering around. Like just like chomps.
Fucking dinosaurs, fucking living monsters.
Yeah,
alligators. It's like,
I will lie, alligators freak me out too. Like that's another thing. I have nightmares, like recurring. Like when I have nightmares or something like that, some of the reoccurring things in my nightmares that are always snakes and alligators.
Alligators.
It's really weird, but yeah, I have a lot of dreams with alligators for some reason.
I can understand snakes because there are poisonous snakes in our,
Yeah, there's no alligators around here
exactly.
at all. No, but for some reason, I still have like nightmares of like that, or dreams that have alligators in them. And it's like not like all the time, but it's like it's definitely one of the more reoccurring things that, like out there. It's weird.
I learn more and more about you, Mark.
Yeah,
you're a weirdo.
So, Dahlia finds a pair of Santa boots sitting on a tree stump. She tries them on, and they're huge on her. She's like, whatever. Sadie texts her boy toy, her crush. You know, we see her texting her like, "Hey, we're here," blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's in. They do this through the movie. They do these cuts where it's like the Adventure Girls logo just will fly in.
Yeah, and
then it will go to them like on their, and then they'll show a YouTube
it's like
page.
you're looking at YouTube.
Yeah, but it's still going with what's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
So they'll do this occasionally with these different types of filters or cuts. It's a little distracting, but I mean, at first I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, okay, now I get it. And they did this with this portion where she's texting. They're showing the text on the side of the screen. You've seen it before in movies.
I didn't think that was during the YouTube.
But no, I'm just saying. But at this moment, they're doing the.
Yeah,
they do a lot of these different types of.
Yeah,
and
filters. She's like, "Hey, Brian, I'm here at Thailand. Miss you," or something like that. And
he's like busy.
And Di's all about, dude, don't text him. He's not whatever. But it doesn't matter. So while Alexia is off by herself, she finds a dark tunnel. But she does a smart thing and does not go down the dark tunnel by herself. I'm like, all right, cool. She walks back to the others, and we see a bloody pile of flesh or something in the weeds.
It's like goop.
Yeah, it's just a bloody goop.
It doesn't resemble anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't even really look that much like viscera.
Yeah, it's just a bloody something. Maybe like, maybe a bloody placenta or something. I don't fucking know. It's just a glob of something.
Goo. Like, I guess it's bloody.
Yeah.
You know?
Alexis mentions that she feels like they're being watched at this point, and then we cut to the local police station where we see one of the bar patrons being hauled in handcuffs. The guy, we saw him at the bar. He's wearing a cowboy hat and like a Santa coat.
A Santa coat, open.
Yeah, open. And but he's like instantly set free, and the sheriff's like,
he's like, he couldn't have done the murders. He's been at the bar. You just said yourself, he's been at the bar all day.
Yeah,
cut him loose.
Yeah, Dopey Deputy Neil, as I call him, is the one who brings him in, and the sheriff's like, get rid of him, get him out of here. So the deputy and the sheriff then talk about the Bernards, a family that was found brutally murdered, and one of them had their heart ripped out. And at this point, we see flashes of the murders while they talk, and a gray demon-looking hand ripping a heart out of someone's chest. The Sheriff Bruce, he leaves, saying he'll be back in a few hours. That's the whole scene. Back to the girls, and more various shots of them just of the rundown theme park, just various stuff. They come to an old shop. Dahlia rips open one of the windows so they can take their keepsakes. One of them mentions that they need to get out of here, get going for their luck runs. Like, hey, that's time to go.
I've harped on it again. Creepy dolls. It's just, it's like most like their keepsakes. They're kind of showing it. They're panning over it. And it's just like a creepy doll. Ooh, creepy dolls. God damn it, horror people. Stop showing me creepy dolls. Do something else. Show me a creepy teddy bear, okay? Show me a creepy elf on the shelf. Quit showing me fucking old dolls looking creepy with the dirt or like a spot of blood on their face. I'm fucking over it. Jesus.
So Alexis says, hey, we can't leave because we haven't checked out this place yet. And that place being what I'm calling the gingerbread house, for lack of a better term, because it kind of looks like it has a gingerbread roof.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I did too. And again, this is abandoned Santaland, so shit's fucked up.
It's
and
all
worn.
themed,
So it's all themed, but it's like kind of worn down, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly what's what.
So they go check it out and break in, and there's a quick shot of biker Barry Bostwick drinking beer and watching the girls on a monitor.
Yeah, it's just a it's a tall dude, tall old guy with a goat, like a longer goatee.
He's wearing like a bandana on his head. He's like like
leather
like a
leather
Daryl,
vest.
like Daryl's leather biker vest.
Yeah, it looks very old biker.
Yeah. He's just watching him on a security monitor,
Drinking a beer.
Then it cuts to shots of a demon-looking creature stalking through the woods. The girls end up in a walk-in freezer, and where they see
Which is powered, by the way.
yeah, which is still powered for a
Which
rundown.
the lights are on still.
Yeah.
And they make no mention of this. They're just like,
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. And then we see the hairy demon carrying a basket now walking through Santaland. Bostwick spots the demon approaching the gingerbread house. Seeing this, he rushes off. Back to the girls as they snoop around the freezer. They hear a growling noise. Hearing this, they all drop to their knees behind like a metal table or something.
kind of ducking out of sight.
Yes, the demon has entered the freezer and starts loading up his basket or unloading his basket, whatever, with various old frozen food items. At least that's what it looks like. One of the girls' phone starts ringing. The demon growls, turns towards them. They let out a scream. They stand and run out of the freezer.
Oh, they've been spotted.
Yep, the demon chases after them. They slam the freezer door shut, run out of the gingerbread house, but the demon easily bashes the door open. I will say that I was surprised at just how good at this point the demon
And this
actually
is where
looks.
we get a great look of the demon.
Yes, and I think they did a really good solid job with this because it is a lower budget movie, but it's still it looks really solid. They did a good job with them. It looks good.
Yeah, it's got, very long horns, like dirty hair, demonic eyes,
The horns
sharp
look great.
teeth.
The horns really good.
You know, clawed fingers, kind of got a Hoven kind of look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Really
looking.
good. As the girls run away, the raging demon comes rushing out of the gingerbread house. Then we hear Bostwick yell, "Krampus!" from off screen, and we see Bostwick run in, tackle Krampus to the ground, and pins him down using a giant staff, like a wizard
A
staff.
decorative staff.
Yeah. Biker Bostwick yells at the girls to get the hell out of here, so they run back to their van just in time to see it getting towed away. Which I didn't make any sense. Like, why would it be towed away? Like, it's not like it's a rundown place not being monitored. Why would a tow truck be there? Who would have called to get this thing towed?
Yeah, like that was one thing I kind of had a problem with too, because they even showed the tow truck driver, and he just like looks back like, he looks real nerdy.
Yeah, it's like
it'd be funny if he just said something as simple as "finders keepers," something like that. I think would kind of give a hint.
Yeah, but there's no reason for their van to be getting towed.
The only thing I can think of is just you lived in a college town. I don't know how strict they were with parking. But when I lived in, Bloomington, Illinois, and Carbondale, Illinois, this parking was so strict and enforced that they had tons of, like shady, and I'm talking fucking shady tow companies that, like, if you were a little over the line, they'd tow you and be like, "Mommy and Daddy can pay you a $200 impoundment fee."
I get what you're saying.
So I mean, it just
it doesn't make sense because it's a closed down park. There's nobody there. Like, there wouldn't be anybody to enforce these parking rules.
I get you. I totally agree. I just wish they would have made it more like, I'm a shady fucking tow truck driver and I got my car. Woohoo!
So they run into this cottage in Stanley.
Yeah, they can't run away.
Yes, they run to this cottage.
So they're like, shit, let's barricade ourselves in this cottage.
Right. As Bostwick continues to fight with Krampus. Sadie calls her boyfriend for help, to which Dahlia snatches the phone from her and then calls 911.
She's like, what the fuck? Call 911!
Yes. So she tells the operator that they're being attacked by some big, hairy thing. Of course, the operator doesn't believe them and hangs up on Dahlia. Krampus starts banging on the door.
It's a whole shtick.
Yeah, I know,
but and I did not like the shtick.
Yeah, and we've seen it before a lot of times with the operators not believing what people say. It's been done to death. And I just kind of wanted to skip over because
I hear you, but it's just like there's good parts of the movie, but also we need to highlight some of the crap. And this was definitely something I'm just like, didn't like it.
I mean, I get it. I get why they kind of had to put it in. I get it, but it's like, yeah, we've seen it 1,000 times, and I don't really like it either. But you take the good, you take the bad,
We're not doing that again.
Yeah, I know. So at this point, Krampus starts banging on the door trying to get in. The girls barricade the door. With the door barricaded, Alexi says they need to try to arm themselves with something. Dahlia calls 911 back, but again, they hang up on her after some more shtick. Now they start hearing loud footsteps on the roof. And that's when a cloud of magical golden energy appears in the fireplace and poofs away. And then staying there is Biker Bostwick holding his magical staff.
It's a cool looking staff.
It is a good looking staff. After a moment of just staring at each other in like confusion and silence, The girls
They attack him.
They charge Boswick and like attack him,
which I kind of loved.
I did too.
I kind of liked it. I'm like, good on you.
Yeah. Alexis decks him in the face with a solid right hook. Dahlia calls him a fat fuck, to which he says, "I'm not fat, you're fat," which I thought was funny. After a bit of this, Boswick just gets annoyed and hits the floor with the butt end of his staff, and a wave of magical energy erupts from it, sending the girls flying and falling on their asses. He tells them to sit down, which they do. Then Biker Bostwick goes on to say that he's very disappointed in the three of them, that they've all been naughty, and that they broke into his property and fucked up his shit. Bostwick tells them to take, he like tosses them a stick. He says, "Take my bike, go into town, get your van." Dahlia refuses, saying, "Fuck that, there's some Bigfoot thing out there." Alexei wants to call the police again. Bostwick tells him that this is not for the police to handle, and Sadie then says hillbillies are crazy, to which Bostwick again says, "I'm not a hillbilly, you're a hillbilly," which I think he's doing the whole like towel thing. Like, "I'm not a towel, you're a towel." Like,
Yeah,
I find it funny, and it just in the way he does it.
And
really
I gotta say, Barry Bostwick. I mean, everyone kind of knows what he's been. You know, of course, Rocky Horror, Spin City.
Yeah, Spin City.
A lot of good stuff. He's got great comedic timing and delivery.
Yeah,
and he's not phoning it in.
No, he's not
for this small budget. He's going all in. He's going
I don't think
Bostwick.
nobody in this. I didn't think anybody in this cast was phoning.
I agree.
Everybody was comedic. Everybody was having fun. And
I agree.
It showed.
Yeah,
but
it was
Bostwick, he kills it.
And that made me feel a lot better, because when you see a pretty well-known star like Barry Bostwick in this low-budget indie horror
because
movie,
we've seen like people like Eric Roberts, Daniel Harris, and
yeah.
much I love Daniel Harris. I've said
we've
like,
seen
on
him,
record
we've
so
seen
many
people
times,
just,
but we've seen him just phone it in.
We've seen Ron Jeremy phone it in,
Yeah, well.
and still beat the brakes off everyone else in acting.
Yes,
but it was just refreshing to see him go full on.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I also do like if you pay attention and you look when he's back, the name on Barry Bostwick's biker gang on the back of his leather vest is Silent Nights, which I thought was a nice touch.
I did not know. I watched this in bed last night, and I was sitting kind of far away from the screen, so I didn't get the.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a clever little touch.
Yeah.
Bostwick finally introduces himself to the girls, telling them that he's Santa, the real fucking deal Santa, as a quote. He tells them that the thing out there is no animal, it's Krampus, to which the girls have like no reaction to because they don't know who or what Krampus is. He's like, which again is kind of funny. So we jump back to the police station where the 911 operator tells Sheriff Bruce that another body was found, and right back to Krampus, who's back in the walk-in freezer, where he seems to find a bloody head or torso or something. It's just a bloody thing.
Again, it's unidentifiable.
Yeah, in a box. And then it gets really weird. Then Krampus slices open his own wrist with like his claw, and it's like lets his blood like pour down over the bloody remains of whatever it is.
So for a movie that has such great effects on the actual Krampus devil,
yeah,
it has shitty effects on what are these supposed to be? Body parts or what? That now it's like, ugh, you take the good, you take the bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's like great looking Krampus, shitty looking whatever that is. Yeah.
Back to the cadre, Biker Santa shows the girls some new newspaper clippings he's saved. Each one of them reports on like brutal killings that were thought to be done by a bear. There's also a kid's drawing of a Krampus. Santa then tells him that Krampus is his fucking brother. And then Sadie is taken aback. He's like, is Santa allowed to say fuck? Again, it's just funny, cute little moments.
And there's great moments like this.
Yeah, and I can't go over all of them, but there's so many. They're really good. I do like Sadie a lot in this movie. I like her. All the girls are fine. They do a good job. Alexei still isn't buying this. She gets up to leave, saying, okay, Santa Claus, we're going to leave you and your killer Wookiee here alone, and we're going to get the hell out of here. Santa at this point is getting pretty frustrated with the girls for not believing him, so he decides to tell them that he knows all their names, and he's been keeping tabs on them since birth, which just, again, is funny because the girls react like, dude, you're just a fucking creep.
Then he starts getting creeped
pervert,
up.
yeah.
And they're just like, ew, you're a stalker. Oh, you're a pervert. And
Yeah.
he's just like, no, I'm Santa.
And so he taps the staff on the floor again, releases another burst of energy that turns him into the traditional red suit and beard Santa.
All in full Santa gear. Got the Santa hat.
The beard, the
he's
glasses.
got the beard, does he have the glasses? Oh,
Yes.
anyway,
Yes.
he's got the belt, the shoes. Fucking Santa.
Yes. To which Sadie claps her hands going, oh, yay! Which, again, funny and really cute and adorable. We cut back to Krampus, who is now out wandering the countryside nearby, and we see the drunk guy from the bar who was released from the police station.
Yeah, the drunk guy with the cowboy hat and the Santa coat opened. Yeah.
Krampus spots him in the bright red coat and takes off charging towards him. The camera switches to a Krampus POV, which is like a cheap Predator vision.
Yeah.
Or like looking through some really weird blue blocker sunglasses. And the screen goes black right as Krampus tackles the guy.
As he gets onto him, yeah.
Back at the cottage, Sadie grabs her video camera, sits on Santa's lap, and starts interviewing him.
Yeah, which is...
And it's not a bad scene. Again, this whole scene, it's done really pretty well.
So she's doing her whole YouTube thing, and again, they're cutting back and forth between filters, and she's like, Santa, now we got a chance to interview you. And it says, Adventure Girls interview Santa.
The real Santa.
Yeah.
And like she's asking like the basic, like, how do you get to your house at night? How do you make your safe? And she's
how do you make your reindeer fly?
Like, magic. And he's trying to like actually tell them like serious information to Dahlia and Alexi. He's like, about kind of like, this isn't serious. And Alexei's like, well, how do you do this? Magic. Blah 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 blah. How do you do this? Magic. And you can tell he's like, it's magic. It's again really good scene. At one point, Sadie does ask about his reindeer, like, hey, where your reindeer at? Along with the elves and Mrs. Claus, but Santa kind of like, kind of touches something. He kind of changes the subject on that, redirects the question. Something's going on. Yeah,
they struck a nerve.
Yes. But then he decides to go into storytelling mode and gives them the whole backstory. He tells them that there's no such thing as a naughty or nice list. He brings people's presents while Krampus shreds their asses, which is, again, funny. He goes on to talk about how Krampus was banned in America back in the 40s.
Like in the 40s.
And how this was a mistake.
How the commercialization of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Post-war, people have money, people have jobs, and all of a sudden, hey, let's not scare the kids with Krampus and the old tales of yore. Let's talk about Santa and money and building things and buying stuff. And then he says, and then when Krampus was gone, everyone started building things, and now Santa was becoming obsolete. Yeah, because
he wasn't needed anymore. Because
he was obsolete.
The toys were making factories now, and they were bought in stores, and Santa sat on their fat asses in malls. Mm-hmm. So he decided, you know what? He just retired and opened Santaland as a way to continue to see joy on children's faces. We go back to the police station. The operators continue to answer a flood of 911 calls.
I do say that little backstory, that little nugget he had about the cancellation, how they stopped talking about Krampus, and then the commercialization of Christmas, and the basically the no longer having a need for real Santa, everyone could just buy their toys. I like that. I kind of wish they went a little deeper on that, but I really did enjoy that.
I like it too because of all the, it's the one, it hits home. It's very true to this day.
Absolutely, and it's more than ever. It's just so much. Yeah.
So the opera gets more reports about finding more dead, mutilated families and kids. Then we get with some hard, fast techno as flashes of various people get their hearts ripped out by Krampus, and Krampus scooping up little kids. The sheriff tells her to
babies. There was one little kid that was he's barely old enough to walk.
Yeah, he's like 2 years old. He's crawling.
You know what's so weird, dude? I don't even have my kid yet. February 5th, due date, but it's right around the corner, and I'm already starting to be like, I don't like that.
Shit changes when you have a kid.
It's weird. The baby's not here yet.
I know,
but I'm already like, no, not the baby. Whereas before I'd be like, oh, whatever.
Same thing here, man.
Yeah,
same thing here.
It's like it started to change my fucking DNA.
Yeah. So sheriff tells the operator to dispatch more men, and Sean the Ranger being one of them. We jump back to the cottage. Dahlia wants to call the cops. Santa refuses, saying that they will shoot and kill Krampus, but Krampus can't be killed, that Krampus and himself are linked, and if Krampus dies, it'd be very, very bad. Santa says that Krampus kills kids, puts them in his basket, and takes them to hell. Alexi chimes in, saying that she saw Krampus taking hairy balls out of his basket and putting them in boxes in the walk-in freezer. So that might explain why we couldn't tell what the fuck these things were, because they weren't really, and they were just supposed to be bloody, wet, hairy balls of globs. Yeah. So confused by why he would do this, Santa rubs his beard and thinks, and then Sadie says Sadie thinks she has a plan. So now we get the standard speeding up of time transition of the sun setting. We cut to some random house where a mother turns off the Christmas horror movie that her two sons were watching. The boys go to bed, leaving the mother to fall asleep in her chair. As soon as she drifts off, in comes Krampus. Cut to the boys up in the room. They hear her mother scream. The older of the two, the teenage son, heads downstairs to check it out. Doesn't see anything, then heads back up the stairs. He looks over. He gets back in his bedroom, and he looks over to the doorway and sees his mom's head peeking around the bedroom door frame from the hallway. But then he sees the large, hairy demon hand holding the head like a basketball drop the head, drops the severed head. The boys scream. We cut to an exterior shot of the house as the boys scream and Krampus roars. We don't see anything. What happens after that? We go back to our main group where Santa gives each of the girls some kind of weapon. He gives Sadie a gun, Alexei what looks like a can of hairspray or some kind of aerosol can, and Dahlia a nutcracker. Then he explains that once they get Krampus, they have to trap him until after midnight. Then they're home free until then Santa will freeze him again, or like something like put him in carbonate or who knows.
They were kind of vague about the. They kind of brushed over how they had, Krampus has been frozen for, okay, and then if we get past midnight, everything will be fine. They didn't really go...
Yeah, they did skim over that part.
They didn't really go deep in the exposition of what they need to do to really confine Krampus or what to do with him. I don't know if that was lazy or I just didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't really catch it either. They don't
if you didn't catch it, that makes me think it was just...
they basically said we have to trap him and Santa will freeze him again. And that's all they said. They don't.
Does he have freeze power?
Yeah.
From the North Pole.
It's like, like I said, put him in carbonate or something. Who knows? I
kind of like the idea of like ice breath like Superman. Carbonate. You always go Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, mix up a little bit.
There's no reason to. Star Wars is the best.
So disappointed with you.
He tells the girls that if Krampus takes off without him, the whole world is going to hell. So again, kind of a weird thing, like takes off without him. Like apparently Krampus can just, I guess, up and leave or something. Again, but they don't really explain much more about it. Santa tells them that even more than killing children, Krampus loves women, especially the naughty ones.
Yeah. And
he'll sniff the three of them out in no time. And it cuts the picture of the three of them there, and all their tits hanging out, and they're trying sexy
to be,
outfits.
Yeah, so they're trying to be extra naughty.
So Sadie stands up and says, "Let's get naughty." Exactly that. So now we see the girls head back out into Santa Land where they get naughty. Alexei vandalizes the place by spray painting buildings. So I guess it was a can of spray paint, not hairspray. While Sadie stands out in the open, is calling out the Krampus and yelling out various curse words over and over again. It's really cute, but it's like
followed by Phooey. She's like, shit, fuck, piss,
like
dick, asshole, fuck,
motherfucker, Phooey, shit, piss, fuck, cut, motherfucker, Phooey.
Yeah,
and she just starts repeating that, and it's funny and cute. Krampus comes.
Yeah, someone's breaking glass, knocking out windows. Yeah. Someone's spray painting, and she's cussing, they're trying to be naughty as could be.
Yeah. Krampus comes running up behind Sadie as she's and this is the best part to make it naughty. She starts to pull down her top like we're gonna get some booby. But right before she can reveal her amazing Christmas chest ornaments, Krampus knocks her to the ground. Krampus gets on top of her and licks her from her chest up to her cheek with like his foot long.
He's got a big demonic tongue.
Yeah, he's got like a Gene Simmons tongue.
But it looks really good. It's kind of dark.
Yeah,
but it's still, you can tell it looks really cool. And you see
all the slobber coming off of it.
And he's kind of starting to mount her.
Yeah. So Alexei comes charging out and starts beating on Krampus, but does like nothing. He just kind of looks up like, "Bitch, what you doing?" Then Dahlia runs up and tasers Krampus, knocking him out cold.
Really? Is that what it takes to knock down Krampus,
Apparently.
the Christmas devil, the demon of of Yuletide?
It was a big ass taser, but yeah,
just a taser.
It was a big taser, but so when they roll Krampus off Sadie, we get to see his demon boner, which that was a nice giant demon boner. Sadie then shoots Krampus with her gun, and it turns out it's a tranquilizer gun. It's a trank gun. So now we cut to Deputy Doofus vomiting at the scene of another murder. This is where we finally see Richard Mole as the grizzled old veteran, Officer Green. Green tells Ranger Sean what happened and that these killings are not from a bear like everyone thought they were. Something sinister is going on.
I've never seen a bear attack like this. And Richard Mole...
He's like, this was a fence. There's no hole in the fence. This was not a bear. This was a person. This was something else.
Does he feel hammy? He feels a little hammy, which is fine for this movie. but
Yeah, maybe
it
it's-
seems a little canned ham.
Maybe it's
little Christmas
maybe
canned
it's
ham.
slightly over dramatic, but not too much. It wasn't over the top. So back to the girls who now have tied up Krampus with Christmas lights to a chair back in the cottage, and we see Santa's also passed out in a chair in the corner. So while Krampus is unconscious, the girls decide to have some fun with picture time. Cue the music, and as the girls decorate Krampus with bows and tinsel and pose for pictures with him.
Selfies galore.
Which, again, kind of funny. There's a quick scene of Ranger Sean driving and getting a call from the sheriff telling him to go out to Santa Land. And then we go right back to the girls who are getting ready to pack it up and leave, thinking it's okay to leave now that Krampus is tied up and unconscious and that Santa will take care of him when Santa wakes up. Everything's good to go. But that's when both Santa and Krampus wake up at the exact same time. Krampus bursts out of his weak-ass bindings. Krampus stands there roaring at everybody.
Looking fucking scary.
Well, Santa doesn't seem to know what the fuck to do. He's like, he just ends up yelling, telling Krampus to go, which is weird. He's like, I thought you wanted him to, but he's telling him, like, go, get out of here. Krampus roars some more, but looks like he's slowly he looks like he takes like maybe 1 or 2 steps back towards the door, like he's gonna leave. But then Sadie, like, fuck it, she doesn't want to wait to see what happens, so she grabs something, I can't tell what it was, but she hits Krampus in his old chestnuts, which also seems to affect Santa.
Who Santa goes, oh!
Dahlia then kicks Krampus out the door, and then Sadie slams it closed behind him. Now Brian, Sadie's boy toy thing, arrives.
Yeah, the guy that she was texting
Yeah.
earlier, he shows up.
Arrives at Santa Land, makes his way to the cottage, goes inside. Inside, he and Sadie hug. And then also Ranger Sean also shows up now and is wandering around Santa Land. Sadie tells Brian that they're helping the real-life Santa fight the evil Krampus, to which Brian says, great, my girlfriend's on drugs. And Sadie responds again, another cute fun, like, I'm your girlfriend? It's like really, like, it's really cute, funny. And that's when the door bursts open behind Brian. Krampus then stabs through Brian's chest with one of his horns.
With one of his head horns. Just
It's like he's got like a 2-foot horn on top of his head.
bursting through the front of his chest.
Yeah,
blood splurting. And
Sadie gets covered, face full of blood. Her tits get covered in blood.
blood splaying everywhere.
Krampus then like rips his horn up through Brian's entire torso, coming out like his clavicle or something like that, splitting Brian in two. Brian falls dead to the floor as the girls all scream.
As blood spraying all over their exposed boobies.
Krampus then he roars and then just runs out into the night.
I shouldn't say exposed. I should say just cleavaged boobies.
Yes.
Pushed up boobies. No exposure.
Exactly.
But you know,
yeah.
great kill.
Great
kill.
Well, awesome kill. Hearing all the screaming, Ranger Sean rushes off to find the source. Then it just cuts to Santa and Krampus fighting, which was a weird cut. Like maybe something they got edited out or something, because Santa was in the house with the girls, and then now they're just Krampus ran away. And now we just
They're
cut
just
to them
outside doing like
fighting.
It reminds me of fucking Egg Shen versus Lo Pan in Big Trouble in Little China when they're like shooting bolts back and forth at each other, and they're like shooting energy
I
back
had
and
like
forth.
Mortal Kombat ish, kind of, just because like because Santa's got is fighting with his magic staff, and there's like energy, like magic energy coming out of it, and Krampus is fighting with his evil switch or his broom or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like lightning coming out of that.
Yeah.
It's just like
They're not physically
like punching
entangling.
each other. Yeah,
they're shooting energy at each other, and it's really a hard cut. And the background's different, and the lighting's really weird. It's kind of like you said, out of place.
Yeah,
like this
so
was shot for a different.
something-
This was shot for a different scene.
Yeah, or
and
there's something
they
that was
cut
shot
it.
beforehand, and they'd had to cut it out.
Right,
But
and they're just like, well, it was cool. Let's just stick it in somewhere. It doesn't.
Alexi and Dahlia are doing their best to drag a screaming and crying Sadie out of the cottage. She doesn't want to leave Brian. But and then we see more of the fight. And the fight, it does look pretty good. Like, again, the special effects are really solid for a low budget movie. It looks awesome for this level. It's good. The girls run up on Sean, frantically plead with him. But then Sean spots Santa in the distance with his staff, pulls out his gun on Santa, ordering him to drop his weapon. So Dahlia tasers Sean, knocking him out now.
She's good with that taser.
She is. And now we're all caught up because we go back to where the movie starts. So the opening scene is played out once again.
Where the Rangers
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, sit down and listen, motherfucker.
Yeah. So then Sean, once we get caught up, Sean laughs at the girl's story of what's going on. But after Santa uses his magic to undo Sean's handcuffs, Sean starts to believe it. Also, it also probably helped that right at the moment, Krampus roars from outside right as that goes. So Sean takes his gun back from Dahlia, who looks out the window, sees Krampus. So now they all come with a plan to catch and trap Krampus. This starts another planning and gearing up montage.
It's another one of those montages that where they just kind of, hey, here we go. And I kind of like it. I like the way they did it too.
Yeah, it's pretty good. During which they explain where each of them is going to be posted, and they'll make and we see them make their makeshift Christmas themed weapons. Like they Sadie has two like wooden candy cane sharpened stakes.
Everyone gets their own weapon.
And there's Nutcracker nunchucks.
Yeah.
And I know, James.
I just like it. Like, okay, now you're gonna be here. And she's like, wow, weapon. You're gonna be here. Sharpened sticks. You're gonna hear nunchuck nutcrackers.
Yeah.
And you, Ranger, you're gonna be here. And he's like, cocks his gun.
And it ends with Santa looking at the camera saying, "Santa Claus is coming to town, bitches." And then everyone strikes like this badass pose. And to which you think it's just like, oh, there's pose for the camera or something like that. But then you see Sean kind of lean in the frame with a camera taking pictures of them, which is, oh, wait, that one was blurry.
And they're like, oh.
And then, they're like, oh. And they just kind of drop their heroic pose and disappointment. And again, there's so much.
Well, that was well done.
That was so well done. There's so much of this fun little humor in this movie that I wish I could cover all of it, but I can't do it all justice. But you
got to watch the movie.
You have to watch it. Yeah. So some time passes, and we see Dahlia up in like the Bumblebee ride, looking down over the park. It switches to Krampus POV, which is now more like night vision goggles. So his vision, he's just got like,
he has different lenses.
Yeah, he's got like the Splinter Cell, like, the Sam Fisher, like,
yes,
like
yes.
night vision, infrared, and this. It's like just whatever he needs.
Well, Predator had the same thing. He's like, well, I'll change it to this, to this,
Predator
to
just had heat
this.
vision.
No, in Predator 2, he changes several different filters.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Okay. I only saw Predator 2 one time.
Oh, really? That's actually a good movie.
See, I remember watching it the first time. I didn't like it the first time I watched it.
Well, it's because it doesn't have Arnold.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like when I watched it as a kid, like, oh, Predator 2 will get Arnold. This will be great. Like, this guy is
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover in L.A.
This old black guy. What's going on?
Like, no.
Rewatch it. It's fucking solid. Okay. It's a good movie. Gary Busey's in it too.
Oh, the Busey.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
All right, I'll give that one a try then. So yeah, Krampus night vision, and then we see Alexi and Sean are trying to get one of the rides to work, and they kind of get to start up, but it won't work. So Alexi's like, oh shit, what do we do now? Like, well, now, what now? So Sean is like, doesn't even give her an answer, just grabs her and they start making out.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I'm like, that was really fast, like zero build up to this, but I'm like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, every once in a while you kind of meet that person where your loins just start flaming, and so there's, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, but it's like so out of place. Like there's no build up to them. We didn't see them flirting earlier.
I mean, they flirted a tiny bit in the bar. He gave her his card, like, well, if you see anything going on, give me a call.
That's not flirting. That's doing business. That's police business,
bro. I'm with you. I'm just saying that was the only there was a little bit of flirtiness going on, but not enough to let's do me right here.
But it was just so out of the blue, like just making out. But then what's funny is they stop making out when they hear a Krampus roar or something like that.
Yeah,
they grab and they just kind of stop and look, and then Sean's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's just a noise. It doesn't matter." And they go right back to making out, which is awesome. Like, that was really funny. Because the old Krampus like, "What was that? I have to go check it out." Like, nope, let's just keep making out.
That's funny.
More Krampus POV night vision. We see Krampus then leap up. Like, this guy's got some hops on him, because he leaps like 20 feet straight up into the air and like attacks Dahlia in the Bumblebee ride. And he's holding on to like the cart, like the car, whatever you want to call it, that she sits in, trying to get to her. And Dahlia's like stabbing Krampus' hands with something. And he loses his grip. He falls to the ground. Sadie comes running up behind him, screaming, and like drive-by attacks him. Like, she runs, bashes him over the head with like a wooden candy cane
keeps
stack,
on moving,
and then just keeps on running off.
It's a great move.
Yeah, it's
a great
drive-by,
move.
man.
Especially, yeah.
Dahlia leaps down from her ride as Sean and Lexi come running up, and they all then run away, leading Krampus to Santa, who is lying in wait with the tranquilizer gun. Krampus runs into Santa's view. The girls duck out of the way. Santa's about to shoot him when from out of fucking nowhere, he gets knocked down by a woman riding a motorcycle wearing red thigh-high boots. She takes off her helmet, and we see it's Cherry, the bartender.
The angry bartender who had "fuck Xmas" tattooed on her knuckles.
Yes.
She's there, hair whipped out in all her glory,
and she
in a
has
whole new outfit with her boobs pushed up
wearing
as
like
well.
a red and black leather corset and like biker leather. Yeah. And she yells at everyone to stop. Cherry tells Sean to take the girls to safety and that they'll take care of these guys. She'll take care of the other two. So she tells him that she's got this, that she's the wifey after all, then looks at Santa and says, "Ain't that right, honey?"
Bum, bum, bum.
Santa looks up at her and says, "Baby, I've missed you so much."
It's Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, Sean and the girls run off, but he stops and wonders how she's going to stop Krampus. Sean figures out that Cherry must be Mrs. Claus, but then just leads the girls off again. Back to Cherry, who is giving Santa the business for all the nights he chose tonight to call in some bitches for fun.
No, baby, it's not like that.
It's not like that, honey.
It's not like that.
She calls him a whimpering fool and says that he failed her again. She rants on about how through all the years she stood by him even when the business failed and they had to eat the reindeer.
Oh, no!
Yep.
So when Santa was basically disenfranchised, replaced with capitalism, where mom and dad could buy
And
presents,
Santaland closed down. They were poor.
and they had no money, they had nothing left, they had to eat the reindeer. Oh,
Which
God.
is even funnier now because we didn't mention this before, but in the cottage on the wall, mounted into the wall, is Rudolph's head
with a red nose.
With the red nose, and at one point you see Santa walk up to him and pet the head.
Kind of just like look at it longingly, like,
He mounted Rudolph's head on the wall.
So sad. Really, Santa? You couldn't just... You're in California, baby. There's all kinds of handouts for you. You can find something. You had to eat your reindeer?
Eat the reindeer.
Oh.
So,
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah. They still don't know what happened to the elves, though. I'm curious about the elves. We don't know that one. She continues on saying, "Don't you know what I've been up to?" Then she starts laughing maniacally. Meanwhile, Sean and the girls run to another building for safety, but Krampus locks them in. And it's hard to tell. It's a very small room, but the building looks bigger. So I don't know really what this is, but they're locked in a small room.
This final act is very dark.
It gets very dark.
It's really dark, and it's hard to see.
Yeah, dark as in lighting wise, not dark theme, but dark as in,
Thank you. Yes, it's very dark lighting. It's hard to see what's happening, and it kind of took me out of it a little bit because it was very hard to see what's going on, and I was a little disappointed considering they've done so much so well.
Yeah.
And then they kind of...
Well, it might be by design, again, to hide some of the shortcomings with some of the stuff.
Unfortunately, it was a little too dark.
Yeah. Then we see Krampus use his magic chain to whip it around Santa, and he chains Santa to a tree.
You can confine Santa. Traps Santa against a tree.
Cherry uses basically the Force, like Luke Skywalker in the Wampa cave, getting those lights, has Santa's staff in her hand. Yes, I referenced Star Wars again.
Gotta go
Shove
to
it.
Star Wars again, huh? Can't you go like Jean Grey? You know, little X-Men shout out.
Yeah, but it's everybody knows in Star Wars the Force. You use the Force to pull your lightsaber to you, and that's exactly what she does with the staff. So it is Star Wars for this one.
You could go Lord of the Rings. You could go Sauron. Whenever you snatch it from Gandalf, zoop, same thing. There's other lore out there, baby. Get off Star Wars' dick.
Bah humbug, you. What the fuck is wrong with you and Star Wars all of a sudden?
You just always reference Star
What's
Wars.
Wrong? Everybody loves Star Wars. Star Wars is like one of the greatest things ever made.
I'm so over Star Wars.
Fuck, get out of here. This podcast is over. We're done. We're done.
Force me out. Use the Force, baby. I just want you to use different references. That's all.
She goes on monologuing, saying that she was nobody to him in the entire world, mad over the way the world portrayed her, always as by his side with a plate full of cookies to serve him.
Fat.
Portrays fat, ugly, and old.
Gray-haired.
And they both know that she's fucking hot.
Yeah, and she throws her hair back, whips it back and forth. And you know what? I bet she was, when she was a little younger, because she is old.
Yeah.
But when she was younger, I imagine she was a dime piece.
Probably.
Because she still seems to keep her body pretty tight.
And she goes on to say that she's cleansing the world of all the little shits, naughty or nice, and everyone will think it was Santa.
So she's framing Santa
Yeah.
for these murders.
Back to the girls and Sean. They start to hear some weird noises, and they look over and see a large gift-wrapped box shaking. The lid pops open, and several hairy balls just get launched out of the box.
And this is
That's a weird
cheap,
sentence.
but I still kind of got the giggle from it, and I kind of hate myself for giggling at this.
They're like,
because they kept saying,
they're like trebles.
well, they just kept saying, hairy balls, look out for the hairy balls, and I was just like,
Tribbles? Tribbles. Tribbles. They're like tribbles.
Star Trek.
There.
Hey,
See? Fuck you. I got other stuff too.
well, that, still star, sci-fi, and whatever, but still, better. Hey, I'll take it.
If you jump back to Santa, who asks Cherry why she's doing this, and she kind of already explained, but she tells him she wants to rewrite history with a little help from her hairy boyfriend. Up comes Krampus, who grabs her from behind, squeezes her tits, and gives her a few little humps.
Couple dry humps.
While Cherry laughs and laughs, then tells Krampus to go get their sleigh, that they have work to do tonight. So back to the others, the hairy balls have now pretty much turned into critters, because they have like mouths on them now, and they're attacking the girls and showing them, biting at their ankles and leaping up and biting at the girls' tits.
Here's a question. In Super Mario Brothers, I think it was like 3, the ones that were on the chains that would jump up and go, like little mouths, little balls on chains that would kind of hop up and try and bite you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely.
That's what they look like. Yeah.
Yeah. I just use critters because they're little hairy balls with mouths on them.
Yeah.
So they're biting at the ankles and the girls' titties. And we cut back to Krampus as he pulls and drags Santa's sleigh out from a barn. Sean and the girls finally escape the building that they were trapped in, and they free Santa from his chains. They run after Cherry and Krampus, who are both now in the sleigh. Cherry uses the magic staff to make the sleigh start moving. It picks up speed and takes off into the sky. Sean shoots at Krampus, hitting Krampus in the back.
Yeah, like crack shot.
Crack shot hits him like in the back shoulder. And then, but we see Santa too get. He feels the effects.
So if you haven't already been clued in, which you should be by now, Santa and Krampus are connected. They're two sides of the same coin.
It's like the twins in G.I. Joe.
Yeah, God.
I forget their names, but they were like.
For some reason I want to say Toka and Razor, but those
that's Ninja Turtles.
I know, yeah.
Xandars
and what was Zen?
Yeah, I forget. They were always,
the only difference you could tell is one had a scar, and the other didn't.
But they feel the same thing.
Yeah, so they're connected. So whatever happens to Krampus, like they showed, like when they got kicked in the balls, Santa felt it.
And the first it was a teaser, was a trailer, because Krampus got knocked out from a taser, and you see Krampus knocked out in the chair, but you don't really pick up on that. He's he's just sleeping or something. Or maybe he's passed out drunk. But now it gets dark. It gets kind of dark.
Yeah.
In a weird way. Seeing Santa react to the pain of getting shot, Alexei, who's holding an axe, looks at him and says, "Sorry, but you're connected."
And Santa
kind of looks
nods at her.
Nods her his head.
And just walks towards her slowly.
Alexei rears back and in one motion chops off Santa's fucking head.
Chops off Santa Claus's head.
Murders Santa Claus. Chops off his fucking head. The head goes flying up into the air. Blood spraying everywhere. Geyser of blood splurting out Santa's neck stump.
Oh, you cut off Santa's fucking head.
The sound of Cherry screaming causes all of them to look up into the sky just in time to see the sleigh explode like the Death Star over Endor. Ah! Now the police cars come racing up, sirens blazing. Up runs Richard Mole and Deputy Doofus. Richard Mole asks Sean what happened, and Sean's like, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you."
Which I wouldn't.
Yeah. With that, Santa's body turns into a magical golden lights that fly up into the sky and vanish as Krampus's severed head goes rolling and plummeting down to the ground. Blackout, roll credits. That's the movie. During the credits, like a very few frames into the credits, you do see who I think is Alexei pick up Santa's staff and like tap it on the ground a few times, and like a little magical burst comes out of it. So like, oh, maybe who's she gonna become Santa? I don't know, but she gets the staff, and that's it. That's the movie, man. So anyway, I lost my pen. There it is. That's Sleigh Bells. Time to move into favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
Now, obviously, there was not a whole lot of kills in this movie.
Yeah, this movie does not have a high body count. Well,
technically it does. But you just never see
technically it does
Talks a
have
lot
a
about
high body count, but so much of it is off screen.
Yeah.
But the one that brings it home for me, which I'm assuming is the one for you, is Brian, the one who gets killed by Krampus with the horn through the back of the out the chest, blood splurting everywhere, all over the girls and their cleavage, rearing back and forth, split up through the clavicle, so he's kind of ripped in half. Great effect. My favorite kill.
Yeah. Yeah, hands down. I mean, there's really nothing else to go with. And
there really isn't.
But hey, if they're only gonna give you one, they made it a good one.
They did.
A really good one.
Although I gotta say, Santa's decapitation.
Well, yeah, they're saying that's definitely the most shocking one.
It's good too.
It's
a
good.
good decapitation. I mean,
really good decapitation.
We've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of decapitation nowadays, especially low budget indie horror decapitations, and it was a good one. It was well done. I can't think of one that's necessarily better or worse, but I still have to go with that Brian one.
Yeah,
that
Brian was so
great.
good.
That was really good.
Yeah, Santa's was awesome. In the fact that it's like, holy shit, she just decapitated Santa Claus. But Brian's definitely is the best. So let's move on to this week's odds and ends.
Just when you thought it was over, here comes the odds and ends.
All right, this is going to go real fast because there's really not much to go on for this one. It's very new, and I couldn't get a whole lot of anything from it.
I'm actually a little surprised by that, considering that
the cast, I thought there'd be more of it. And apparently I forgot half my homework on this one. So ratings, IMDb gives it a 4 out of 10, which I was surprised by. Rotten Tomatoes, I forgot to look it up, so I have no idea. I forgot that one. Amazon gives it a 4.1 out of 5. Plot keywords, there were none. Trivia, none. Budget, couldn't find it.
Jesus.
Yeah. I would try to surprise. I didn't know those surprised. I had a guess. It's definitely not that low of a budget, but I would say this is at least in the millions, somewhere like maybe 2.5 to 5.
No less than 500,000.
Oh, there's way more than that because you're not getting Barry Bostwick and Christina Cleave and you're not gonna get them for their salaries gonna be more than that.
Yeah, I mean, Do you remember a long time ago when we interviewed Sarah Wagenvood from Trapdoor?
Yeah.
And she said that, lots of times like there's almost like seasons to filmmaking. There's the summer blockbusters and stuff like that, but then there's times where it's a lot of downtime. Maybe this could be a downtime movie and people are like, "Oh, I just got to work," and so they aren't expecting a high payday. So maybe it just kind of falls in that. And that's why I've noticed some of the movies we watch where I'm like, oh, it has this guy, or this girl. It's got to be a high budget. It's not nearly as high as I thought it would be. And I kind of went back to that interview and I thought to myself, I wonder if it's just one of those quote unquote low tide, low season kind of moments for the actors and actresses.
Maybe. I mean, it's definitely, I think, at least in the millions at this point.
And
low
really,
millions.
what was the last time you heard Barry Bostwick?
Actually, it wasn't that far long ago. I saw something else we watched with him not that long ago in it, but yeah, I don't know.
Or if Richard Mole.
But yeah, but
that one's
not Richard Mole's contract wasn't, or salary was gonna be high, but Bostwick might got something. Christina Cleave probably gets something, a decent amount.
You keep mentioning her, and brother, I'm having a hard time.
I know you do, but I'm saying she's done. She is a work. She's a name. She's been enough stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned the stuff. I'm just,
but you're still gonna get paid. And then
sure.
Granted, the location, it was obviously an actual theme park somewhere that they just rented out or got permission. But
yeah, it was definitely.
But the special effects were good.
Yes.
The credits, the CGI credits were good.
The lighting was not.
But that could have been intentional, not due to budget. But I'm just saying, I think it was at least in the millions or something, a low millions. But anyway, it doesn't matter because we don't have it.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But that brings us to this week's 5-star reviews.
Is this your guilty pleasure? 5-star reviews.
So 5-star reviews, we got 46 total reviews on Amazon. 65% of them are 5-star reviews with only, I don't know what, I must have time on it. I have 125 1-star reviews, and that's not true at all. So maybe.
Yeah, because you have 46 total reviews,
yeah,
right?
It says, I bet it was 12%. And yeah, the 5 is the percentage key. So I didn't hit the shift key when I typed it. So 12% 1-star.
That's actually not a bad amount of reviews for a movie that's only about a year old.
Yeah, it's for an indie one. It's not that big. From Paul41, simply writes, Hannah Wagner, 5-star review. 5 stars. From Critical Times. Krampus, hot cosplay, and Santa all clashed together in the craziest Christmas horror comedy I've seen in a long time. This is not your father's holiday movie, but watch it if you like horror and comedy and a dose of what the heck is going on here. 5 stars. From Brandon and Erica. So what happens when you combine Barry Bostwick, 3 sexy chicks, and a terrifying monster? A brand new Christmas tradition for the whole family. This movie has the perfect amount of camp, humor, and terror, and it is not to be missed. Barry Bostwick brings a whole new dimension to Santa Claus that you didn't know you were missing. 5 stars. Last one I wrote down from, from Megan. I personally am not a fan of horror movies, but I enjoyed Sleigh Bells. I got a kick out of every time Santa would say, Krampus! And the campy one-liners kept the film lighthearted enough for someone like me who is a big old wuss when it comes to horror. 5 stars. So I wrote that down because that's not a horror fan saying, hey, I actually like this movie. Oh, it's very, very horror-like. It's not very, it's horror. It's more horror comedy.
And that's what I kind of agree with that.
Yeah. 1-star reviews. I wrote down 2 of them just because I wanted, I don't know why.
Sure,
but
the other side of the coin.
From Jack Rackham. I don't even know what to write about it. I've watched better short movies made for YouTube. The characters weren't engaging or clever, not even fun to watch. Nothing did I gain from watching this whole movie, nor did the characters gain anything. Just bad. Thanks, Hannah. You should have stuck to YouTube. Now I'm dumber from watching this. 1 star. Ooh. And the other one I wrote is from Rowdy, R-A-U-D-I. Very bad act, very bad direction, horrible dialogue, amateur herky-jerky camera shots, god-awful generic techno music. Comedy? ? Not one thing in this movie was funny. Nothing. Only redeeming quality was the creature effects, but the director even found a way to ruin that. Nothing good here at all. Definitely not worth buying, and even the rental price will leave you feeling violated. 5 stars were obviously fake reviews from people involved in the production. How did Barry Bostwick end up agreeing to be in the stinker of a movie? 1 star.
I will agree with one thing from that review. The music, the techno music. They used a lot of techno music. I don't mind a little bit here and there, but it's a goddamn Christmas horror movie, and there is so much public domain Christmas music you could have used, which they chose not to. It wasn't even techno music with like a Christmas like flavor or tinge to it.
Right.
Nothing like that. So that is something I will agree with, and something I was personally disappointed with was the music.
I was actually on the opposite side of the fence. I'm not the biggest fan of techno music.
I didn't find you to be such a Skrillex fan.
Yeah, I'm not a big techno fan at all, but... And yeah, I mean, there's times that techno gets over that I don't really like it, but for some reason, like, to me, it fit this movie. I was okay with it.
It did.
And
but
I was okay with it, and the fact that, maybe I'm not like you, so I'm kind of glad they didn't go with the traditional overuse of the Christmas songs just because it's a Christmas movie. I was on the opposite. Do I like techno? No, I'm not a big fan of techno, but it didn't bother me. Like, I was like, oh, fuck this techno, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know. At least it wasn't the fucking butt rock death metal we've seen in like countless independent horror movies. So I was okay. It didn't bother me.
I get what you're saying. I agree. And you know what? I didn't mind the techno. Like when they were driving down the road and they're doing
I didn't think it was even shitty techno. I was like, this isn't bad for techno. I'm like, it's okay.
When they're splicing it in with their Adventure Girls YouTube page.
Yeah, because it's where they use it. That's where it was.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think there could have been a better use of Christmas music when they were doing the setup. When they're like, like you, Alexia, are going to be here. You, Dahlia, is going to be here. And they're showing him pros of different things. You could have dun, 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 or even a techno version.
A techno
of
that one.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying any other Christmas song other than that one, I think would have ruined that.
I just wish they would have played a little bit more music into it, considering so much of it is public domain. It's not hard to do. I just wish it would have been done.
Oh, there's we should start other people's reviews. So that brings us to our final thoughts on the movie. Aaron, what is your final takeaway for Sleigh Bells?
I was I didn't know what to expect when I first saw this. I was pleasantly surprised by the intro, the way it was done. I like Barry Bostwick as Santa. I thought he did pretty good. His comedic timing was on point, and as we said before, he wasn't phoning it in. The girls were likable. I didn't hate them. They were very attractive and fun and flirty and fun and cute. You know, they had good comedic timing as well. I do wish, like I said, I already mentioned it, I wish there was better lighting at points. I wish there was use of Christmas music here and there. Something else I don't think we mentioned in really, but I'm going to mention it now. Why did we cut to the police station so often?
That was my biggest thing about the movie.
The police station almost felt like a separate movie. You know, we kept cutting the police station, You could have done that once and been done with it. It felt like it was almost like a separate movie or something completely different. It would take you out of what was happening. I didn't like cutting the police station, which had very little to do with the story. You could just say, there's a rampage of people being killed. Oh my gosh. And then, you know, when we find out it's Krampus, fucking leave the police station. Don't cut back to it anymore. I was really bummed out by that. But at the end of the day, it was fun. They had good comedic timing. I'm going to say so bad it's good. Is it the best one? Is the best Christmas indie horror movie we've seen? No, it's not. There's other ones that are better. Mercy Christmas. No Mercy. Mercy Christmas is absolutely fantastic. I would even go on to say that Blood Beat is worth seeing, even though that's the most minimal Christmas movie ever. Yeah. But still, that's a trip. That's something people need to see. So before you see this movie, go see those two. But it was still good. It was it was a modern twist. It was good. They put the effort in, and Barry Bostwick fucking delivered. You know what? Honestly, if he phoned it in, that may have just ruined it. But he nailed it. Yeah. He went all in. So I'm gonna have to say, so bad it's good.
I too am saying so bad it's good. I really enjoyed this one. It was a fun. It's a little something. It's not traditional horror slasher, but it was fun. I would say, again, put it in the ballpark. Even though I like it better than the one I'm about to name, but I would say, as far as fun movies, I would put it in the same kind of genre as, Santa's Sleigh, the Goldberg one. It's Christmas horror, but it's not really horror. Yeah. It's kind of more. It's more fun. But
I love Santa's Sleigh.
I know, but I'm putting that in that more fun genre. It's just more lighthearted and fun. I think it's definitely worth a watch. There's a lot of fun. I think the negative reviews of this were just
a little harsh.
Were way too harsh, and maybe people not. Maybe they were not knowing what they were going to get. They're expecting something different.
I can see people not being too happy with this. And there was one thing that, again, I forgot to mention. And I know it's based on location, and there's only so much they can do about it. Obviously, it's in California. They don't get snow there. And it was for me personally, I just wish I could have seen a quote-unquote picturesque Santa winter-esque scene. You know, but that's where they were. They were in California. And yeah, guess what? In California at Christmas time, it's going to be warm and sunny. You know, it's going to be nice and... You know, where you can run around and cosplay.
Well, you had the same thing with Red Christmas. It was Australia, or New Zealand or something. They don't snow down there either.
Although they had the sweaters, they had the decoration. They did pretty good.
But that's also because they were at home. It was a family Christmas in the home.
Sure.
These girls are out dicking around in a theme park. So
and that's what I'm saying.
They were dressed for Christmas. There was Christmas cosplay. Come on, they were slutty elves.
I will agree.
Snowflakes
but for me,
whatever.
Something that pushes it over the edge is just that little bit.
I do also agree. I agree with you. What the police station? Every time I cut back to the police station, I was let down. You're like, oh god, this again. Just keep it on the girls. Keep it with the action. It was
keep
fun
it in the story.
It just felt like it just kept slowing. Like every time it's like, oh, this is good, and then back up like, oh god damn it. Because really, I think other than the very first thing there where they released the one prisoner.
Yes.
And then maybe the one where the sheriff says, hey, dispatch my man and dispatch Sean.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it explains why Sean's out there. He's sent out there. Everything else, you don't need it. Yeah, you want to cut to the family getting killed, fine, for a little extra. That's fine. Not to mention, Krampus gets around. He goes from town to the theme park, but I'm like, whatever, he's magic. Who cares at this point? You know, I'm not going to, they've said it's magic, so yeah, you can't argue that. But
that's a good point.
He covers a lot of ground.
He does. And also the Richard Mole, scene where he's it's a horrible scene.
Again, that could be cut out completely.
Yeah,
it wasn't needed.
I like seeing Richard Mole. I'm a Richard Mole guy. I love Bull Shannon. I love Night Court. Hey,
Yeah.
anything to see Richard Mole, I'm fucking happy. But did he need to be in this? Absolutely not.
No. Or if they really wanted him, give him you could have given him a different part or something if you wanted to have him. Because hell, make him the sheriff. You're going to and then cut out that scene completely at the house because you didn't need it there. But anyway, overall, So Bad's good. I think it's definitely worth a watch at least once. And it's not that long. It's only like an hour and 10 minutes, hour 15. It's a shorter movie.
Yeah,
so,
and the end credits are about, I'm not kidding, the end credits are about 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
So the movie itself is about an hour.
I say an hour 10. Somewhere. It's a short movie. It's shorter. So it's definitely it's not going to take too much of your time. And it's a fun little Christmas movie. So that's it, guys. That kicks off week one of our December month-long Christmas horror movie spectacular, whatever you want to call it.
Marshall, what a great movie you chose.
Oh, Santa came back. Great.
Thank you so much. Aaron hated No Mercy so much.
We all hated it.
So happy.
The world hated No Mercy.
No Mercy.
That was a Krampus trick, I think.
That was. That was a fucking lump of coal in my ass.
All right,
Jesus.
guys. We'll be back next week with another Christmas horror movie.
All right, never mind. That's good.
Aaron's got something to say, apparently. Aaron, get it out.
I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, and this is going to drive everyone nuts, because you're like winding it up, but hey, why not on my side? Hey, you're a fan of pro wrestling, right, Marshall?
Yep.
You're a fan of Bray Wyatt, the Fiend.
Yeah.
Yeah? Isn't he the Universal Champion right now?
Yeah.
Doesn't he have his own style belt now?
I don't know. I haven't seen it
From
yet.
what I understand, he has his own style belt.
Sure.
His
makes
belt
sense.
is actually designed by Tom Savini, classic horror icon.
Well, Savini did his mask.
He did do his mask, and he also designed his belt. His belt will be on sale starting, I think, in a couple days.
Awesome.
The belt will be just on sale for a couple
cool.
days.
That's cool because the only other person they ever gave their own belt to was John Cena.
Yeah. Now, do you know how much this belt is selling for that you can purchase for?
Probably something insanely like replica belts. Their replica belts are authentic replica belts are like $300 or something like
$300? You want to go a little higher?
that.
How about $6,500?
Wow.
$6,500.
Well, that belt better be real goddamn gold and diamonds.
For a Tom Savini original. Now, these are all designed by Tom Savini, all signed by Tom Savini.
Oh, well, there's why. They're autographed.
And there is the tie-in to horror anyway, but we also like to mention some wrestling stuff. I wanted to mention this at the top of the show, but we got rolling so fast it just rolled right in. So
the autograph is what's jacking up the price on that. I was like,
fuck that, man.
I still want to pay $6,000 for a Tom Savini autograph.
Who the fuck would pay $6,000 for Tom
Don't
Savini?
say that. There's people out there listening who probably would. There's people go apeshit for Tom Savini. They think he's like the end-all, be-all of horror.
Hey, he's great. He's great. But at the same time, you can go to like a horror hound, pay, let's just say $100 to have your picture taken with him and sign something. It's still a ridiculous price. Yeah. It's limited run. Well, I just thought it'd be something
limited run.
I just thought it'd be something interesting that you tie into horror, wrestling, the whole shebang.
Yeah, I actually haven't watched much wrestling. At least not Raw and SmackDown. I'm several weeks behind. I watch NXT regularly every week, and I watch the pay-per-view. I watch the Rise, but I'm behind on like the actual on Raw and SmackDown. So I haven't seen Bray Wyatt's belt or Bray Wyatt since he won it. Actually,
Nachos Aguero and I a couple weeks ago were at a bar, and it was a Friday night, and sure enough, there was SmackDown on. We're just like, holy shit! We're just at a bar. We're just like looked over, like, holy shit, there's SmackDown. And shout out to Nachos McGuire-Wolf and Here Come the Spooky podcast. So check them out
with Cincinnati Jeff. So
yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up now, guys. Like I said, we'll be back. Jesus, Santa, go away.
Not on your life, asshole.
We'll be back next week with another Christmas horror movie. In the meantime, guys, remember to watch more horror movies and always keep it tight.